Hey everybody, if you're tuning in here, you are probably interested in the Vibraphone, maybe playing gigs with the Vibraphone. The first thing that people always ask for Vibe players is, why did you play the instrument? And never do we answer, oh, because it's easy to carry around. I remember being about 17 years old and getting more serious on the vibes and going, this might be a problem in the future, having to carry this thing around to gigs all the time. And I didn't really worry about that. I figured I'd figure that out down the road. And now, after years of playing gigs and setting up vibes and figuring out how to do it, I've come to a complete circle in the traveling vibraphone that I want to use. So I started out and I had a great Musser one-nighter when I was a beginning student, which, if you know that instrument, it has non-graduated bars, means all the bars are the same size. And I couldn't wait till I could graduate, no pun intended, to a full-size instrument that had graduated bars. I moved up to that instrument. We won't confuse things by using the word graduate again, but I moved up to an M55 Musser that had the larger bars on the lower notes, has a wider, fuller sound, but it's bigger and harder to carry around. And then after a while, I switched to becoming a Yamaha artist, and I gigged for many years using the Yamaha Gold Tour vibraphone, which is a wonderful instrument, and it breaks down very small. The problem with it, unfortunately, is that it takes a really long time to set it up and to take it apart. And I would find myself, after playing all night on a gig, facing the instrument and having to take it all apart into little pieces to pack it up. Furthermore, using pickups on the bars, I don't know if those of you who use pickups that have little transducers that go on every bar that need to be plugged in, that takes even longer when you are packing and setting up. And so I got to the pandemic and we all reevaluated things, and I said, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, gigging and having to set up the whole instrument. I want an instrument that will travel in one piece and that will just be like a guitar player, where I can just roll it in and plug it in with the pickups on it, and the pickups are not really disturbed. Taking the bars and the pickups off every time, you don't take the transducers off the bars, but you unplug them. It feels like as if you were a guitar player and you had to take the strings off your instrument every time you went to play it. And then when or to pack it up, and then when you went to play it, you had to put the strings back on the instrument. Feels a little bit like that. And so I decided to try to make a change, and the change that I decided on is a new instrument made by Yamaha called the YV-3030, which is a smaller instrument, and it's non-graduated. I never thought I would go back to wanting to play a non-graduated instrument, but it's right here, and it's only about 75 pounds, and most importantly, it's got a hydraulic system that makes it go down and squash down so that you can put it in any SUV. You don't have to have a minivan or a van to travel with the vibraphone whole. So I've been doing a couple gigs with it, and it's working out pretty well. And I found out that actually I adjusted to the non-graduated instrument, and it's actually pretty easy, maybe even easier to get around this instrument because of its smaller size. But with the pickups, that's what makes the difference for me. I've done a lot of comparisons, as you'll see in this video, where you'll see that the large, full-size professional instrument just projects much more. However, with pickups, that really evens the playing field. If you're going to use pickups, I'm finding that I'm getting plenty of nice tone out of this YV-3030. The bars were reformulated a little bit by Yamaha, so this instrument has a formula that was from their celestes, and the bars have a very nice, sweet sound to them. I do wish I could more easily get a 440 tuning. All the vibraphone manufacturers these days are mostly just delivering 442 instruments. Uh, to me, that's not the best idea for playing with contemporary groups with electric pianos and guitars, with guitarists who use digital tuners and things and tune to 440. But you know, that is what it is, and that's what all the manufacturers are doing. But anyway, in this video, I'm going to show you how I set this up. And then there's a separate video that I made to show how I made the pickup system. I made the pickup system for this instrument myself, and I did it for probably under $100. So that's a separate video. You can link to it below. But let's go and I'll show you the particulars of using this as a traveling vibraphone and see what you think. For me, it's now the way to go, and I'm done setting up an instrument. I just want to roll in and plug in. So, here's what's really cool about this instrument is that it's very easy to lower it down. You go one side, then you go to the other. And now it's ready to travel. Just can roll it in where you want to roll it. And it's compact enough to go even in a small SUV. So, yeah, this makes all the difference. And here's the cool thing. It's only 75 pounds. And you can pick it up like this very easily. If you want to get it downstairs or whatever you want to do, you can just roll it on two wheels. And it's quite compact. And they've done a couple things. They've got a strap system for the pedal. They have an even damper bar they've added on this, so the bar moves north-south. And the bars that are fashioned from the Celesta are a little bit sweeter than used to be on like a small instrument like this. So anyway. So what I've added to this vibraphone is an internal pickup system. You see the little mixer down on the end. The bars have piezo sensors that run to rails and collect into that mixer. So I did not use a commercially available pickup system. I built this system myself, and it wasn't that hard. There is a separate video where you can see how I created the pickup system for this instrument. So you're definitely going to notice that it's like real compact, but you know, I don't mind. It's kind of easier to get around. Sometimes you're a little tighter down here. If we go over to the large instrument, it's quite a bit different. It's quite a bit bigger. And, you know, from a playing standpoint, though, it's very manageable on the non-graduated bars. Not really having any problem with that. Goes quite fast. Goes into special effects land. And here was another thing that worked out well, not having a instrument that packs up, that travels full. You can put a little mallet holder there, which is working out great. I love that, to have that there. Yeah, even if I lower the frame, I'm gonna lower this down, the mallet holder will stay there and stay out of the way, especially when there's no mallets. So one thing I don't give high marks for is this very flimsy cover that comes with this instrument. It's not going to protect it very well, moving it around. But I did happen to have this Yamaha banner, which is made of a strong material, and I was able to fashion that into a nice cover for the instrument that will definitely protect it. You can see this fits easily into an SUV. It squashes down and put a few bungees on it. This is a mid-size Telluride, but this would fit into a compact SUV, no problem. So it's got a couple of bungee points. It's very easy to just bungee around the legs of this, keep it in place. It's a breeze, working great. So I'm loading in here for a gig. One thing that concerns me that we'll just have to see is this whole frame is kind of held together by this screw at the end. So there's one of these at each end at the bottom of the frame, and when you move this around, there's a lot of wear and tear on this, and we're all relying on that screw, and hopefully that won't fail. But if it does, the instrument would perhaps be unplayable. So there's a lot of stress for a professional situation of moving this a lot on that screw, but we'll just have to see how things go. So this thing's been really happening now, and it sounds good. And I've had it out on a couple of gigs. Got my pedal that I use, and we've got all of the electric cords mounted here for like really simple gig setup. You just roll it in, and there's one plug. All of it's wired all around the instrument. And the pickups are all internal, so they haven't given me any problems at all. So it's been pretty cool.